Hello and welcome to another quick training. In this training, we'll discuss about onboarding your customer. Now, is it important to go through onboarding your customer? It is very much important because onboarding your customer is one of the crucial process or one of the biggest process of you being able to get started. What does that mean? Now, onboarding your customer does not only mean you setting expectations, but it means you collating everything so that you could get started. It's basically where it should always start. You won't be able to go through the whole process up until disputing, up until receiving results, and all those without going through onboarding your customer. And sometimes onboarding could really take a lot of time because a lot of information needs to be gathered. You need to gather personal information, credit monitoring data, documents. There's a lot of data that you need to be able to collate during the onboarding process. The Client Dispute Manager software made it all easy for you. In order for you to completely onboard your customer without having to spend so much time collating everything, you can get them all done in one email. You just have to send your client a quick email. Now, before we go through discussing the onboarding process, before I actually show you what it looks like or how it goes, let me first give you a couple of tips that's important. So before you even go through onboard a customer, you need to make sure that you are prepared with a contract. It's easy to prepare a contract in the software. Just simply go to company and then choose digital contracts. From there, you may set up your own contract. Now, when it's time for you to onboard, make sure to go through your client auto sign up setup. From your client auto sign up setup, just double check what are the steps that your client will go through. As soon as you're done making sure every settings is correct, you can now select customers and easily send out an email to them in order for you to onboard them. Now, from the customer screen, just simply click on send email. And what email do you need to send out? You need to send out the contract agreement templates. So just choose amongst the contracts that you have prepared and then send it over. As soon as you have that sent to your customer, you may now have your client go through the onboarding process without you being involved in it. All you have to do is sit back and wait until you receive all the information. So let's see this process on a point of view of the customer. So how does it go when a customer receives the email? Your customer would be receiving this email. Now you have the capability to, of course, update the template or modify the template. Just go through the manage email section and make sure not to touch the document review and the link review section, as well as some of the placeholders, those with open and close parentheses into the email, so that you don't get to disrupt the automatic details that's happening and being added. So your client can just simply click on document review or click this link right here. Either way, it would be redirecting them to the whole onboarding process, or what we call the client auto sign up process. The client auto sign up process is a full online onboarding process. So it basically goes through 5 different steps. One is signing the agreement, and this includes signing the disclosures. 2, gathering customer information, the basic data that you need. 3, payment information, of course, is important. 4, credit monitoring. This is in order for you to import their information and in order for you to start your dispute process. 5, identification or documents that you initially need. So your client needs to click on next. From there, they will be able to review the consumer disclosure, and all they have to do is agree to it and proceed to the agreement page. Then they would be redirected to the disclosure itself. This is the consumer credit file rights under the state and federal law disclosure. It is important that we include this in order for us to be compliant with the laws. You may review your state law and federal law, as there are some disclosures that might need to be included as well, so make sure to go through them. Your client can double check their name here and then sign the signature here. They could go ahead and check the checkbox and submit the signature. Now, as this process is happening, there's two things that's simultaneously happening. One is they're being redirected and they are also receiving an email copy of the signed disclosure agreement. Again, they are receiving an email copy of the signed disclosure agreement. So in their email, they would automatically be receiving this with the attachment of the signed copy of the consumer credit file rights disclosure. Now, next would be the contract details. This is where they can review the contract. As soon as they're done reviewing, they could go ahead and provide a signature and submit the signature. Again, in this particular section, there's three things that simultaneously happens. One is your client is being redirected to the customer information page of the auto sign-up process. Two, your client is also receiving an email for the signed copy of the contract. They are receiving this email right here. Attach the signed copy along with the right to cancel document. 3. You as the admin would be receiving an email notification and a notification into your dashboard that you have a new signed agreement. So all those are happening simultaneously. So the next step is the customer information screen. In this screen, they would be providing you with their basic personal data from the name, date of birth, address, phone number, and their social security number. As soon as your client is done filling out the data, they could now click on Next. From there, they would be routed to the credit card information screen. Now, in the payment screen or in the credit card payment authorization form screen, this is where they could provide their billing data. Now, this particular part of the process, just to take note, this would only be available if you have the integration of Authorize.net with the Client Dispute Manager software. So make sure to check out that integration process in order for you to be able to include this process or this particular step in the auto sign-up process. As soon as your client is done providing with data, you could just simply click on Next or Submit, and then they would be submitting their credit monitoring. Now for credit monitoring, you have full capability of choosing which one you would be recommending your clients to go with. That would be between Smart Credit, Identity IQ, Privacy Guard, and MyScore IQ. Now I have opted in to redirect my clients to Smart Credit. So they just have to click on Sign Up, create their credentials, and provide their credentials here and click on Submit. Next would be the document upload. In this particular process, they will be uploading their initial documents such as Social Security card, ID, and proof of address. They can just simply click from the document type and select a file to upload. Make sure to check the formats file supported by the upload process. And lastly, they would go through a thank you page. So in this particular part, they can also download a signed copy of the agreement at any time. So that basically completes the whole onboarding process. And as you can see, it's very easy to go through. Now, your client can go through the onboarding process using any device. They don't necessarily have to use a computer. They could use a phone. They could use a tablet, an iPad, or any device, a laptop. As long as they can access a browser, they'll be able to go through the onboarding process. So that completes this quick training video. Thank you for watching and watch out the next video.